squirrels that run through my head. Some days it's amazing I get out of bed. A little bit of information to go with this story. The shoes I'm wearing right now are about 2 years old. They have no real tread left on the bottom. They didn't have any real tread when I first got them, but what was there is now gone. They are pretty slick. The roads out here are frozen solid and they're smooth ice. Smooth, rutted ice. I don't know if you guys can read that or not. That's the note that's on my cabinet right now says, take the phone. That's there to remind me to take the phone outside with me. Because if I fall, there's nobody out here. Kathy's not here. The people down the end, they come in and they go out, but I don't think they're staying down there. Lance, the only person I know out here to talk to, is not there most days. I don't think he's there now. Jordan, the guy who lives catty corner across from me, is not there most of the day. There's a guy up the road, but he's far enough up the road in his camper. I don't think he'd hear me if I yelled. So I try to remember to take the phone out because there's a chance I could slip and fall and not be able to get back up. I fell the other day when I was doing the car. And luckily enough, I was close enough to the car that I could pull myself up. If I fall in the middle of the yard, there's nothing out there to climb up on. If I fall and hurt myself, I'm screwed. So I have to try to remember to take the phone out with me so that if I do fall and can't get back up, I can call 911 to come pick my ass up. Okay. Today I needed to get water. The water pump went the other day and flooded the camper, and Tech's suggestion was check the connections, which look fine, and fill it slowly to see if it leaks. Well, Kathy wanted some water poured into the tank before she tried filling it again, which, yeah, I get. So I needed water for that. And I haven't had running water for 2 days now, so I needed to get some dishes done. I needed water for that. I put 4-gallon water jugs in a milk crate, and I went up to the tap, got them all filled, and dragged it back. Everything was good. I got water in the tank, and so far it's holding, thankfully. I got everything done. A little while after I got back, the thought pops into my head, did you turn the tap off? Did you turn the tap off? Now, I know I turned the tap off. I turned the tap off before I put the lids back on the water jugs. Because if I didn't turn the tap off before I put the lids back on the water jugs, the water would have been gushing all over the jugs. It would have made it a little difficult to put the lids back on. I got the lids back on the jugs, so obviously I turned the tap off. I know I turned the tap off. But my head, did you turn the tap off? Are you sure you turned the tap off? If you didn't turn the tap off, it's going to gush water all over the place and flood the road and make it bad for everybody. Are you sure you turned the tap all the way off? Maybe it's dripping and it'll freeze I don't know. But it's just running. That little hamster's running on the wheel in the background, coming up with everything that could possibly go wrong. And bugging me about, did you turn the tap off? Did you turn the tap off? I argued with myself. Most of the, a good chunk of the afternoon, I argued with myself, thinking, yes, you turned the tap off. I know I turned the tap off. But that little voice doesn't shut up. So, to get a little bit of, I don't know, I finally put all the outer gear on, and in the last of the daylight, because it was getting dark by this time, I hiked back up there. Yeah, the roads out here are rutted, smooth ice right now. They're not something you really want to be walking on. But I hiked all the way back up there just to make sure I turned the tap off. Rounded the corner. It's not gushing water. I can see that it's not gushing water. I can see it's not even dripping. But I have to walk all the way over to the tap and double and triple and quadruple check and make sure it's all the way off. And then I walked back, and thankfully I made it. And believe me, there were a few moments where, but I made it. I got back here, I took the dogs out, I did a few things out on the patio before it got too dark, and then I came back in. The minute I crossed the threshold, my head's going, are you sure it's off? Are you sure it's off? Maybe you turned it back on while you were down there. Like I would do that. Seriously. Are you sure it's off? It's still running in my head. Are you sure it's off? Are you sure it's off? If you didn't turn it off, it's going to be bad. If you've got that going on in your head, know that you are not alone. Some days because this is always going on in my head. I can do all the checks. I've got a routine when I leave the camper. I have the same routine I have when I leave any place I live for any length of time. You go through, you check everything. I make sure the animals have water. I make sure that there's nothing in the ashtray. I make sure that I have all my keys. I go through this checklist. And then I'm still, even though I know that everything's fine, there's still that voice running in the back of my head. Well, maybe it'll burn down. Maybe, oh, the dogs are going to do this. Oh, that's going to happen. It never freaking stops. And I'm only now realizing how bad it is, because it's constant. I'm gonna go and try to do something else now, and that voice is gonna pop up in the back of my head going, are you sure it's off? Positive it's off, right? Yeah, if you have this going on, I understand. You're not alone. And now, the last pair of reasonably clean, dry socks I had are soaking wet because I couldn't trust myself enough to know that I turned the tap off.